Hey there, you're listening to or watching the Scaling Deep podcast with Lisa Princik. I'm a membership expert and business strategist. And today I'm going to share with you why I'm teaching my members and clients to fail, which I know you might be thinking that just sounds crazy and it sounds counterproductive. But there are so many things that we can learn when we are willing to take action and have it not be a guaranteed turnout or workout 100% because we learn so much from it. So I want to share the reason why I am talking to you about this today. Most of us have amazing offers. We are offering in our programs, in our services, in our memberships, like something that is just great. There's not many people who I've come across who have something that is not useful or just not valuable. The big issue people have when it comes to becoming successful or getting sales is in the communication of that value, right? So what it means is that people just can't get from us what it is that is so great. And that can come in any way. Like that can come across in a sales call where we can't really describe how we help people, but it's usually not so much the case as it is selling in ways that go beyond having that one-on-one conversation where we can ask the person what they're struggling with and what outcome they want, and then be able to personally walk them through how our offer works or our step-by-step process or whatever that may be. That is so much easier because it's just an obvious meeting of the minds. You're naturally going to respond to what they put in front of you, and you're going to be able to help them diagnose their problem because they might not know even exactly what that is. And if you feel like your diagnosis of their problem is something that lights them up and they're excited to realize that and work on that and get a solution to that and get an outcome, then that is probably going to go really, really well. Now, when I have sales calls, I've actually done a lot of that work on my sales page. For my VIP days, I have a sales page that flushes out not only my offer and what it includes and where it can get people, but I really go through that whole process of like, what is it that you might be going through? Here's what might be not working out well and why it's not working well right now. And then here is a solution. And this is the kind of solution that you need, regardless of who you would get it from. And then here's my offer to meet that. And I also even include the price on that. So that makes the sales call really just is this person, a nice person? It's just that one-on-one FaceTime, which helps people to kind of get that rapport building or just like settle on am I going to invest in this, which is perfectly fine with a one-on-one offer, because if you're going to work with someone one-on-one, you want to have that rapport and you want to make sure they feel good about it because you want them to be a great client and get a great results, right? But that's like even harder on one-to-many offer because you're not going to do that sales call. You have to lay this all out on a page that communicates how useful you can be to them. And of course, it helps if you already believe in your value and you really believe that people are better off buying from you than someone else if they actually need the help and if they actually need the thing that you're offering. So that's really hard to communicate though, because you've got to look at really getting in the head of other people. And that's difficult and that takes time. But what we can't do is just not start these offers and not start selling in the first place just because we are not sure that it's going to work out. We can never exactly know the pieces that are not going to go over well in a sales funnel. So I've been talking a little bit about the sales like itself, the page, the conversation, the whatever. But when you look back on all the steps to making a sale with one to many, from the organic social media posts to the sharing in someone else's audience where they hear about you or an ad of some sort, then them landing on the first thing that they can see or get from you, whether that is your offer or not, or just a lead magnet or some kind of webinar or training, from whatever that is, to like actually using the thing or showing up at the thing or like reading the thing that they get, to actually looking at your sales page. There's a lot of steps along that way. And sometimes we don't know what isn't going to work as well in those steps. And that's where we have to get used to this idea of trying, doing it, and then looking back objectively and learning how to do this and feel okay with the failure piece of that is like saying that you're not ever not believing in your offer. You're just willing to look at what it is that might not be working. And it's a great mindset and habit to get into, because this is how entrepreneurs do it, because they can never just say, I've got it right and it'll never change. Now, a recent example is my amazing membership method workshop that is happening next week, which you can find at scalingdeep.com/method. I'm teaching people how to structure and sell their membership program for simple scalability that you can do from where you're at right now, and not from the perspective of someone who's got multi-million-dollar business. This is going to be really helpful. And I have sold this workshop in a different format with different content last year, but in the same style. Like, I was running ads to my sales page, and then people would show up at the workshop. So I had some stats from last year thinking that it would mostly go the same. And I thought, okay, well, the hardest part is going to be getting ads to work well, because as you may know, running purchase ads from Facebook and Instagram are fairly expensive, and they can be tricky because it's a really high ask we are getting people to make when they are clicking on an ad that leads to a purchase. And it's also a really high demand market. So there's a lot of competition for high action takers in the Facebook audience, because they're more valuable, because they're people who are ready to take action, to buy things, to do things, and they're expensive. So that's usually like the really difficult part. So I was imagining this entire process of, oh my gosh, the ads aren't working, and how do I improve the ads? And I'm going to be working on the ads forever. So I worked on the ads. I had some support with a fantastic new ads membership that I'm in, and a great mentor. And I also got some training to just up level my knowledge of it. And I produced some ads for this workshop that did really, really well. But then the next thing I knew, I was spending all this money and I had no sales. But I didn't have no sales because I didn't get anyone on my sales page. I had no sales, and I had a lot of people land on my landing page. So my first instinct was to just chuck the whole strategy and say, I'm done. And maybe I should just go back to offering free things because the paid thing is too difficult. And that's where I settled in for a second and said, no, I am not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm going to actually have a look at this and go, like, what is actually happening? And when I just singled out the fact that it was my sales page that wasn't converting well, I fixed it because I was like, the ads are working so well that I just don't want to give this up. And of course, I don't want to spend a bunch of money and get nothing. I mean, nobody wants to spend thousands of dollars and not end up running an event because nobody will sign up for it. I ended up getting fierce and deciding to just focus on what was wrong, got a little support from my mentor, and was like, aha, I can up level the sales page. And you know what? I did. And you know what happened the moment I did it? The moment I was finished doing that and spending a few hours to make it amazing and adding some bonuses, I've got some excellent bonuses on there that are worth more than the value of the workshop. I have a special discount for a few more days on the workshop. So if you're really thinking about the workshop, this is the time to sign up because I've added so much to it. But the point being is that I know it's going to be a good workshop. I know it's going to attract some really great people into my world, some real action takers. I really want to see this strategy through from my own testing perspective. And all I needed to do was work on the one thing on that funnel that was not communicating the value properly, and then get back to it. And that's what I teach my members. My members in the Scaling Deep Society are often saying to me, I did this launch, I'm disappointed with the results. And I can sort of feel that dismay. And I've felt that so many times before, and it's natural. We're going to feel that. Failure doesn't feel great. It's not supposed to. But if we can mitigate the time that we feel crappy about it and then quickly turn around that, okay, let's, after we have our pity party moment, get objective and look at the numbers, we can often just look at things like, oh, I just didn't have enough people see it, or I didn't have enough people show up, or I didn't have enough sales, but all the other parts worked. And there's one of those that's going to be the biggest thing. And then we can learn from that. And then we can optimize and make it a little bit better. And that's so valuable because you cannot in this industry set it and forget it. Last year, my sales page, the way it was, converted really, really well. Okay. Like this year, it required a lot more into it. It has to be longer and it had to be more robust and it had to be have more stuff in it and it had to be addressing people on more of their challenges and all that. And that's what you'll see when you go check out my page, scalingdeep.com/method, where you can find and sign up for the workshop for only $37 until Monday. And then still after that, it's still well worth it at 47. You will see that it's just got a lot of detail in it, a lot more than it did before. And that is working this year. And last year, it was working with half the amount in it. And those are the things that you just cannot predict. And those are the things that multi-million-dollar businesses are also dealing with. And it's getting used to this objectivity of just looking at like what needs to be changed. And that's how we keep going. And that's how we keep building traction. And that's how we keep getting new people in our lives. And that's how we make a dent and an impact and keep adding more and more members and clients to our businesses month after month, week after week, day after day, because we're not giving up. We're getting curious and we're getting comfortable with this idea of, I might not get this right, but I will get this right because it's not personal. It's not that my offer sucks. It's not that I suck. It's not that anything that I'm doing is any worse than anyone else out there selling similar things. It's just that it's parts of it that are weaknesses in the system. It's like a leak or something, right? We have to look at it that way. And that's where we can start to turn things around and make a big impact. So I wanted to convey that message to you today. Firstly, to share with you this experience because it's very recent and it's not over yet. I still have this workshop running and you're still welcome to join. But I also wanted to let you know that it's okay to take action and have things not work out as long as we have a system to figure out what's not working out and then how to fix it, which is what I will teach you inside the Membership Method workshop next week. I'd love to see you there. I can't wait to be there to answer all your questions about everything we talk about and more, because there's this really long Q&A inside of it that's not a Zoom webinar or anything. It's going to be a like live faces on the screen. We can chat about all your membership questions. I cannot wait to see you there. Bye for now.